Welcome to the new moon in Taurus gathering. Today is April 24th. So this moon is actually on April 27th. So we're a couple days early here, but we're going to talk about the Taurus new moon anyways. So buckle in, let's get into it. I'm very excited. I love Taurus season, Taurus moon, Taurus everything. It is slow, it is steady, it just soaks it in. We're first gonna I'll go into some of the astrology of this time of the moon, and then we'll talk a little bit for like a second on human design, and then we'll talk about the gene keys. And then what I think I'm gonna do is like last time when I read out the Dream Arc Animals message, I found that really cool and fun and interesting, and I love how that's written. So I think I'm going to read those out as well in the same kind of way, and we'll see how that goes if you guys like that. Because I really enjoyed that. And hold on a second, Sissy. You have to wait 1 second. Okay? Sorry, bud. Um, okay. Taurus new moon. New moon in general. New moons are the beginning of the lunar cycle. This is the time to plant those intentions, plant those, you know, metaphysical, but also literal seeds. Maybe not in the southern hemisphere. But for us, if you are in the northern hemisphere, it is springtime. This is a fixed earth sign. So this is the fixed energy. This is where we are like in the middle of that season. So the energy is sustaining, like it is continuing that season's, like what that season represents. So this is like the time for manifestation, the time for those things. Like if you look at Aries as this beginning, it's like the spark. It is like that first hit of I'm going to make a choice. I'm going to go on this journey. I'm going to take this action. Taurus is like, okay, I know I want to go on this journey and take this action and do this thing, but to do all of that, I have to have an intention. I have to have plant this seed. I have to take care of this seed. I have to like sustain something. So that's what the fixed signs do, is they help sustain that initiation energy that the cardinal signs will bring. So we are in fixed earth energy. It is grounded, it is practical. And it's the moon. Like this is our emotional cycle. This is our feminine. This is our inner world. We are all emotional beings. We all feel things. We all have intuition. We all go through cycles. We are always flowing. And so the moon represents that changeability that exists within all of us. And we are constantly processing information, our surroundings, our day is changing. Everything is always in this slow motion. It is the fastest cycle that we have. It's the moon for in astrology. So it represents all of these really little quick things, the subtle and not so subtle, our inner workings, how we are taking in everything, processing it. So we have 12 new moons, 12 full moons, sometimes one, sometimes a little bit more. If we have a blue moon and we have like a double up some months, but we get to go through and have like this is the time to initiate and have that fresh start with the Taurus energy wherever Taurus is in your chart. So for any significant placement, you want to look at the house. That's going to give you the most depth of information. So we'll do that at the end, actually. We'll go through the houses for you guys, and um that's going to tell you sort of where you are planting these seeds. And remember, this happens every single year in this season. So we always have a new moon in Taurus season. So that's, you can kind of like remember these things. So yes, and so manifestation. This is I think that we could do maybe some intention setting as well. The new moons are the best time, I think, for intention setting, and it's light intention setting. You don't got to go crazy and write down your 10-year goals. So you can definitely do that at any time. There's many times that that's good, like through the year that that is a good time to do stuff like that. I would say your birthday, you could say the spring, the beginning of spring, or Aries season, or the beginning of spring, whatever is happening for you at the time. And then also, I think that in even though we, like the normal New Year, like is in the winter, um, and people are like, oh, it's not right, and I agree to some extent, like it's not like the New Year, but the winter time is actually a really good time to plan ahead because there's less action. So those are some good times to like be set, like not planting seeds, like, okay, winter, not going to be planting seeds, you could say, but you're planning the garden. You're planning what's next in the winter time. Now it's the time, like we have come out of winter, we're in spring, or you can look like metaphorically, at any time that you're feeling that spring part of your life, like that is when you're going to be now planting those seeds. Now you're going to initiate into those manifestations, those things that you want to bring forward. But I think this is I love Taurus New Moon um for that, basically more than any other new moon, personally. But, you know, anytime is a good time. It's not like it has to be one specific time and then you've missed the boat and now nothing is gonna happen the same way. But we'll do a little bit of that at the end. And yeah, just make it nothing crazy. You don't gotta go overboard because I know that I can do that a lot. Okay. Oh yeah, and I wanted to say this moon actually is, so it's at 7 degrees and there is 46 minutes. That's the degree that this is happening at. So you can look into your chart if you have anything. I would actually look at your human design chart because that's going to give you two charts. So you might have a gate. You might have this human design gate defined, and it might not be in your normal astrology chart. But you can look at any chart that you want to use and see if you have anything at 7 degrees and 46 minutes. And that's where this moon is happening. And this moon is also squaring Mars, which is in Leo at 4 degrees. So it's not an exact square, but it is having that sort of energy. So there's a lot of power behind this. And Mars has just recently went into Leo where it has been in and out of Leo and Cancer for like 7 months. And now we're finally back in Leo. And Mars does really well in Leo. It's very forward, creative. Like this is also, I think, helpful if you are going to be thinking about what you want to, manifest or just bring forward, what you are doing, what you want to put action into. Even though this is a square, and sometimes with a square, it's like, ooh, there's tension. It's like there's only tension because it's making you deal with both of these energies simultaneously. You're not really able to like let one just kind of float away somewhere. Like it's bringing it to this focus and making you like giving a pressure, but with pressure we can get a lot done. So there is a Mars aspect. Yes, people could be stubborn, a little bullheaded, a little arrogant, a little feisty. There can be a little bit of that going on for sure, especially because we got Leo. Mars and Leo is just can be, a whole attitude, and Leo is just wants to be number one. And I can say this because I have Mars and Leo, so this is my Mars return happening. But yeah. Overall, I think this is a really good energy and very good for stability, for creation, create something stable. And with Taurus knows that slow and steady wins the race. It is not rushing. It has nowhere to rush. There's no need because it has a method that is tried and true, that's tested, it's sustainable. Like this is what Taurus thrives on. This is why Taurus has success. Taurus is naturally ruled by Venus and has to do a lot with the material world and success, money, and like the finer things in life, luxury. And it just knows that like you don't need to rush through life. You meant to enjoy each moment through life. And if you want to be successful, burnout is not the answer. You got to take care of yourself. You have to have self-love. You have to take time when you need to take time, go when you need to go, like read what is happening and take action accordingly and make it sustainable. Taurus loves to be sustainable. It's gonna like build strength over time and know that it can take on more as you build that strength, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, whatever it is. In this case, probably more emotionally. Um, the more that you, it's like the endurance, it's like if you exercise regularly, you're going to have more endurance, you're going to handle more things. But obviously, you're not going to go and run a 10K like the first time that you're going to go run because you're just setting yourself up to fail. And Taurus does not want to set itself up to fail. It wants to set itself up for success, which means that if it's going to have to build and take time and do a process, it is going to do that process. So that's a lot to say. That applies for this whole Taurus season or the sun in Taurus as well, because this is kind of the vibe. This is the energy. This is the what's present, even if you have no Taurus in your chart. In Taurus season, you do. In Taurus season, the sun is going to transit Taurus. So if you have nothing in the house of Taurus, Taurus season, you got the sun. You have the moon at certain times. You might have, I have to look where everything else is. Right now, I'm drawing a blank. But, Mercury, Venus, Mars, sometimes, depending, they all kind of travel together. But you definitely have the sun right now through this time, activating that energy in your life, regardless of what else you have going on. Okay, let's move on to the human design really quick. So this is going to be human design gate / gene key 24. So you can look in your human design chart. I would look in your human design chart, see if you have 24 highlighted, if you have it on you, or you can look afterwards. And that is what's activated. It's in the ajna or the mind, the little triangle that's like pointed down. That's where you're going to find it. Gate 24, it is the gate of rationalization. And I took this sentence I found on a website. I really liked it. It makes a lot of sense. It's a really quick way to break down this gate, and it is understanding and breaking down the mystery of life into reason. So that is like the essence of that in the human design. And if you understand the ajna or the mind, what does the mind do? The mind seeks to understand everything. So all of those gates within the ajna are about the process of using our mind. And our mind, what does it do? It rationalizes, or it tries to rationalize. And you know what? There's things that are very difficult to rationalize, which is just that's the spice of life, that's like the God essence. It can't be rationalized. Yet us as humans, we think that, oh, no, it can. It can and it shall and it will. And I will do it. I will be the first and only to rationalize the great mystery. And if I fail, I will just keep going and keep trying. And that's going to lead us into the shadow of the gene key of the 24, which is addiction. Okay? Addiction. This is about obsessive, addictive thinking. We will figure it out. We will come to the conclusion. We will uncover the mystery. And this addiction, it's interesting. There's another shadow in the gene keys 19 of codependency, if I'm not mistaken. And it's interesting, and I have both of these actually in my chart. And the only reason I bring up the 19 is because I think a lot of times people will have an addiction. They call an addiction to something like a substance, right? And it's really actually a codependency. It's really actually like, I need this to help me to cope. An addiction, if we're especially looking at the gene keys, but you can kind of see how this is a little bit different. It's like you cannot get out of a cycle, and I don't want to say always, but I feel like it's almost always mental. Like it is a mental thing, and that leads you to take certain actions over and over again, and it leads you to live the same day over and over again, the same life, the things that you thought that you think like, if I just continue with this and I keep in this pattern, you think somehow in the shadow of it that you will figure out the thing that you need to figure out to change it, but you're not doing anything different. And you're just doing the same thing over and over again, and you are addicted to that comfort that brings you. It's like people that are addicted to pain, or people that are addicted to their own suffering, which is most people, because if you've gone through this pattern over and over and over again, it literally is a mental pattern that you have created, and you get stuck in that. And a lot of times these things come from childhood, of our thoughts are a way that we think that was maybe instilled in us as young people, and it's become a pathway that is so solid and so familiar that to break free from that would require something either very disturbing and unsettling, or crazy, like an experience, like some people will have like a near-death experience and change their whole life, and it was like the thing that severed that addictive looping process. Or you just learn how to navigate out of that with different tools and different things. So we're actually going to talk about the how to navigate out of that. We're going to talk about the gift. So from this addictive looping, mental looping, which again can feel very safe. Like this, it's like even if we think that we don't, like, you can go in this looping with the intention of, I'm going to go through this mental looping to find out how to get out of the mental looping, but you are just continuing. That's like part of the loop. Do you guys know what I mean? Because I have this in my, I think it's my evolution. It's my conscious earth, but in Gene Keys. And it's like you are thinking, like the mental loop, you can think about it literally like a loop. Like I think about this, and I think about this, and it comes full circle. And then at the end of it, or like towards the end, you're like, or whatever part of it, when I think this way, this direction, this part, that's where I'm going to find the answer. And then you don't find the answer, and then you start over again. And then you're like, no, I'm going to find the answer there finally this time. Like I'm going to get to that answer, and I'm just going to do the same thing over. And you never find the answer because it's impossible. It's literally like you are contained right here. And the answer a lot of times is not just like the answer. It's just like there is a an openness that's required, like a surrender that's required in a way to let in more information. And the gift of this gene key is invention. And this can only really occur when you are letting, like, taking that time away. Like there was something that was said, it was like, this is almost, you're playing a song on the piano or on whatever, and you are playing this song out, and that is the loop, and it's over and over again, and you're playing the same keys, and then the song ends, and then you start the loop again. You do the thing again, but there's a gap in between the song, like, and the end of the song and the beginning of the song. There's a gap, there's a space. And sometimes if you are not letting that space exist, then you are going to not let in what can come in only through that space. You are just remaining in your closed off mental piece. You think that you are going to figure out something and that whatever, and it's just not going to happen. But in that gap, that is the space that you are able to invite in information that you did not have, information that is outside of this addictive loop. And this is how you break out of the addictive cycle, is with like space. And we'll talk about silence as well. That's the city, silence. This whole gene key is actually called Silence, the Ultimate Addiction, which is interesting. But so this is where invention comes in, is when you're in that space in between. Space in between. Oh my God, the addict doesn't want to be in the space in between. That's where all the pain is, or that's where all the confusion is, or that's where all the, it's like it doesn't feel good for the mind to rest when you're addicted to the mind going all the time. And then you think that you're losing your mind because your mind's not in the loop that it's normally in, or the series of loops that you play, or whatever it is. And that's the addiction, right? And so letting that space exist without it being without really even trying to put anything on what that is or what that needs to be. And it's literally just knowing that you don't need to know. It's like with the human design gatehouse, the rationalization, it's like trying to understand this mystery and make it reasonable and make it something that you could possibly understand, and you just can't. sometimes. Like there's gonna be these elements of life that don't really even need to or can be understood, or these elements to your traumas that can't or don't need to be understood. And sometimes we become so addicted to trying to help ourselves or heal or whatever, we can put a nice word on it, like we're doing ourselves a favor by going in these mental looping and this addiction. But really we're just keeping ourselves stuck in the same, not necessarily the same exact frequency of the trauma per se, but we're creating a whole nother thing to break free of, like, because we're trying to figure out all these things that the answers don't come from that space. They come from letting letting that gap be a little bit wider, a little bit wider, a little bit wider, and eventually you're going to start to create new pathways in the brain, new ways of thinking. A new understanding is going to come in. That's the invention, okay? The new understanding. And then eventually this will lead to the city of silence, which is not just about having nothing to say or just, choosing to say nothing, but then really inside your mind, you're kind of going insane, you know? It's learning how to master the space in between and not needing to fill that space with anything. You can just be in the silence, the mental silence, the physical silence. And you can, like, not reading anything, and it's not trying to be like, well, I'm just not going to think. And then you're thinking about how you're not going to think. And then you go this whole thing. Because again, it's like in the mind is always trying to be like, well, you did this, like always trying to find something to like squiggle into and pull into its little cycle because it's an addiction. So it's not even trying to be like in your head, like, don't think, oh, you're bad if you think. And then if you're bad if you think, then you do this. And it's like, you're going insane. It's a slow process. And the city is always going to be something that is a very high, like, status, like master status. Okay. It's not something that you're just going to automatically be in that thing all the time, or very easily or very often. You might touch it, you might go into it. I mean, you might be like at this level at some point of like, some high yogic level or something. Anything's possible, but it's not really about trying. You never want to, you can never really like try to will your way into the citic state. It's a state that comes over you after you are like just so present and so connected to God and to, just so there in your life and leading from the heart and all these things. Like you just go into that state. You can't will and think and power your way into a acidic state. Um, but yes, the silence of the mind, and it's just honoring that in between, that gap, that space between the end of the song and the beginning of the song, the end of the loop and the beginning of the loop, and trying to make that space a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger, seeing what comes in and going with what comes in, like seeing what comes through in that space, seeing what that inventive piece, what that brings to you. And yes, okay, so let's move on a little bit. The part of the body from the gene key's perspective that this gene key is associated with is the neocortex. So that's kind of interesting. An interesting thing to go into if you have this gate, or if you want to, or this key, or if you want to kind of feel into this key a little bit deeper, you might want to play around with I mean, I don't know, meditating on your neocortex or just learning about your neocortex or something like that could be beneficial. This is also the codon ring of life and death. And this is made up of 6 keys. And this is also the amino acid leucine. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Leucine. So you can look up that. But part of this codon ring of life and death, it's the 6 keys that make it up. I'm going to tell you what they are just in case you want to see if you have them. It's gene key 3, 42, 27, 23, 20, 24. And this ring governs the process. I'm going to read you what it says in the Gene Keys. It governs the processes that bring human beings in and out of form, right? Life and death, okay? Creation slash destruction, change and mutation of life. And then at the end of it, I thought this was a good sentence. The chaos of play is to be deeply trusted and revered. Play is the expression of genius, and genius finds a new solution to challenges it meets along the way. So that is what this key is a part of. Okay. And yeah, let's go into, let me like go on my screen here and pull up the dream arc animals. I'm going to read them out. I liked doing that last time. I thought it was really good. So I'm going to read them. Let me a second. Where the heck did I put them? Okay. All right. Okay. So for the shadow, which is always going to be like the reptile or insect, or in this case, it's a fish. So we have the flying fish. This is the fear key. It's one of the leapers, okay? And this is the fear of never breaking free. And I'm going to read you what it says for its guidance, okay? So the flying fish, so you can just take a minute and take this in. So it says, we are flying fish. We delight in paradox, in the dream of freedom. What is freedom for you? Can you escape your addictions and afflictions? Look deeply into your life. What is it that you are addicted to? All shadow states are addictive. So all human beings have addictions. Our role is to show you that it is possible to free yourself and move to a higher plane. The secret is not to try and stop the addiction, but to shift it to a higher plane. In other words, replace the old destructive addictive pattern with a creative pattern. This is not just for you, but for your whole species. Shadow work can be tough and bone-breaking. It requires grit and courage and persistence. How many eons do you think it took us fish to develop wings? You have to want it enough, and then you engage the creative power of the imagination. Imagine yourself in flight. Imagine your life lived on a higher plane. What will it take? You will need some inner discipline. Begin now. Begin replacing self-destructive patterns in your life with constructive patterns and habits. Immediately you begin this work, you will begin to feel better. You will begin to rise above the waves. Then you must begin to build the momentum to retain the higher pattern and keep the lower from pulling you back again. Believe us, we know how hard this process is, but we are with you. Use our success as your inspiration. Let us be your symbol. We are leapers. We became elevated through joy. It is joy that allows you to be transformed. Joy, though you may not feel it now, is what awaits you. The joy of silence, the silence of freedom. Begin a new contemplative, creative practice. Let this practice become a field of transformation that gives you a sense of renewal. Make it a habit of it. Do this. We are not about thinking. We are about doing. Do the thing and you will find the power. Do it now and keep doing it. That is why we have come to you today to give you permission to unlock this great joy that lies within. That was a good one. All right. The next one. Give me 1 second. I have to log back in, I guess. Actually, I have it on my phone. Logs me out of the dream arc thing. Okay. So that was the flying fish for the shadow. Now for the gift, this is the hare. And this is also one of the leapers, and it's called transformational inventiveness. I'm gonna read it on my phone because, yeah, I took a picture of it. It says, I am hare, greatest of leapers. So potent is my medicine that it will reshape the world in time. How to respond to a crisis with deep creativity. This is my first leap. If you give in to the darkness, what use are you then? I come as a symbol dashing between the realms to remind you that all trials are initiations in disguise. Even the loss of a loved one, our deepest wound, is a silent initiation into the mystery of death. So honor your loss by diving into the depths and unlocking the quiet jet of creativity. Let your grief be beautified. Let it crack open, not just you, but countless others. Even when you feel no energy to create, create. Just begin your process of creation. You need not understand it or like it or know where it is leading. Just do it. In time, you will feel your sorrow being transformed, and it will deliver you into the greatest of truths that we can never be parted from our loved ones. That is simply not possible. They live in eternity, resurrected within our heart. This is no pretty speech to make you feel better. This is a living, immortal truth. It is my second leap. My third and final lesson, and I always come in threes, is about freedom and laughter. Sorrow and laughter are two sides of the same precipice. You must walk the line between them by diving into both with abandon. You will not lose yourself if you have learned my first two lessons. You will come to see that ecstasy is born from immersion in all opposites. Thus, you will discover the alchemy of my third great leap, transcendence of suffering. You transcend by utterly trusting in everything that occurs to you. The deepest veins of trust will set you free, and then you will finally understand my lopsided grin, and you will laugh and become one of us. You too will become the hare, for you will have tricked yourself into love. That is for the gift. And then the last one for the City of Silence is the Nightjar, sorry, the Nightjar. And this is one of the journeyers, and it's called the Vision of Ecstatic Silence. And it starts, because I am the Weeporwill, which I don't know if that's a typo or if that's another name for the Nightjar. Many are the legends and superstitions that surround me. Mystic bird am I, fluttering along the very hinterland of the inner realms. If I have entered your inner consciousness as a symbol, then you have a journey to undertake, an inner journey. You will need to set aside some time for this journey, a day at least, but longer is better. You will find a place away from humans, away from sound and distraction, a retreat. You will go alone. You will set a sacred container with objects that have meaning to you, perhaps a small altar that you will create. You will utter prayers of protection and call upon the higher powers to guide you. You may also use music for your journey. You will wait until darkness, and then you will take courage and journey within, following the ebb and flow of your breath and the breath of your inner being. You will trust in the images and feelings that sweep through your body and mind. You will not try and change them or worry about them in any way. You will embrace them all and follow the inner path that is laid out for you. If you are at any time gripped by fear or pain, you will come back to breathing and take care of yourself with the utmost gentleness. At some point, you will open up into deep silence. You will journey the whole night through the inner realms. When sleep comes, you may rest a while, but you will continue when you awaken. As the sun rises and the light returns, go out into the day and welcome it as you would welcome a long-lost loved one. Spend the day in celebration and in digesting and integrating what the night has taught you. If you have the time, you may extend this foray. I worded it weird. This foray into several nights and days. Above all, know that I am the spirit of darkness, and I am your friend instead of fearing me. Allow me to cradle you in my loving arms. Allow the beauty of the formless silence to envelop you. You will discover that the silence is not empty as you may have feared, but it is filled with light and love and with the very breath of God. You will discover that death is a beautiful doorway that leads only to the very heart of life. All right. So that is the dream arc animals. They seemed to focus a lot on death, which I guess makes sense as well, with the codon ring being of life and death. And I found that kind of interesting. And I loved how the first two were leapers, and they were just like, it's all about like breaking free from that pattern with something that is like big, like a leap, like not just like taking a step away and go into something. It's just like just do it, just go and just do the next thing. And that's really like how you're gonna break a pattern. Not just by thinking about it and writing it down, like I'm gonna break this pattern. It's like just do something that's out of the ordinary, do something that's out of your normal pattern. So I really like that. It's my first time reading those. Um, yeah, I'll open it up for you guys if you guys want to say anything, share anything, and then maybe we can go talk about the houses slash write some intentions for this month or the 6 months or however you guys want to do it. If anyone wants to share anything, you can.
I just found it really interesting that you were talking about the whole looping back into patterns and just old thought processes. Because when I was just listening again to my lunar return, I was really focused on going back into the South Node and the comfort of the South Node. And I feel like I've really been there, in particular at this festival, because I feel like I've been really inward a lot, and it felt really uncomfortable for me being at the festival this time. So I definitely felt like I was in the cover of my shell and really wanting to hide away, and I'm still feeling it. I'm so exhausted at the moment though too. And last night I was meant to recover and have a good sleep, and then I ended up in bed all night with Ishta because she's unwell. So I had a good sleep again. So I'm feeling slow and tired and not not my normal self at all.
I feel
Um,
like, yeah. I feel like I've been feeling really slow as well. And I don't know if it's just maybe just being like if it's the astrology piece or like there's just like a lull in the the energy that has been happening with all the like intensity and all the Aries and it's been really strong and now it's like kind of easing through a little bit. But yeah, it's like these, and I don't know if you were feeling certain addictive mental looping or if you were just retreating in yourself. And yeah,
yeah,
it's like such a comforting thing because it's so steady, it's so addictive, it's so like we know, yeah, I think it's just a familiar any kind of I feel like it's almost like any kind of addictive thinking pattern, even if it's not necessarily hurting you, is not healthy because it's not open. It's not open to anything new. And that's like also keeping you stuck from growth, even if it's stuck, but you're not like, okay, it's not like you're self-abusing or doing something like insane or crazy or really intense. It's just like you're not growing because you're doing the same thing, you're having the same thoughts. And I think that's okay at certain times. Like we're gonna have these periods of getting comfortable again, even after we change and we grow, and then we get comfortable again, and we have a new mental pattern that we think about and we process in a way that we do a thing. And yeah, I think it is just the nature of our minds that is kind of like I was saying, is like it humans just are addictive mentally. We get into mental addictive patterns. This is how we roll, really. And just being able to take those leaps and take those chances and take that action when we can. And yeah, that's interesting. It's hard. It's hard to break from a lot of times because it's just Our minds are so wild. Our minds are so powerfully just tricky. And it was funny how the hair was like, gotta trick yourself into love. Because our minds do love to just like, everything has to almost be tricky. And it's not that that's even really bad, but you kind of do have to trick your own mind because your mind will trick you into thinking that it knows everything that's happening. Like your mind's going to tell you that you just know, you know, you know what you can figure that out. If you think about it long enough, you could figure it out probably. It's like, no, you can't. Sometimes you just can't. Sometimes you just don't need to do that. Yeah.
Well, this really touched me, and I connected with what you were saying, Rachel, about the tiredness. For me, it's been ongoing for years, it seems. And I wonder if I'm addicted to it. I've been questioning that actually, because it's a thing that keeps me slow and keeps me from moving forward in some of the ways I want to. So I wonder if there's some fearful part of me that's attached to that so that I don't move forward. I'm not sure, but um, right now, my mother is in her dying process, and it's been a long, drawn out thing with a lot of suffering, and it's very slow. And hospice and I was having a conversation with a hospice chaplain this afternoon. We're trying to understand she's no longer able to verbalize, and what is it she's needing? What is she needing now? So I was really thinking of all this with her too. I wonder what I mean, I suspect she's afraid of what's coming next. It's a big unknown. Um, and I wonder, I've been wondering, what can I do for her? How can I help? And just tonight, when I was listening to you read about the different animals, Nicole, I wonder if it's helpful for me, to start creating some shifts, becoming more inventive, doing what I need to do, and now I'm like putting off because I'm supporting her. So that's a pattern for me too. Somebody in my life, it seems like it's been a series of people who need support, and so I'm like, I'm ready to move forward. It's just like when we did the Activate course, I'm like, yes, I read about it. I'm ready. I join. And like the day before we start, my mom starts into this big downslide, where I'm like, oh no, now I have to turn my attention to her. But um, now I'm thinking, and I sort of am feeling in limbo. I feel very tired, and I feel like I'm kind of waiting for her to move forward now in where she's going, and then I'll be able to move forward. And now tonight I'm thinking, no, maybe not. Maybe it's about me doing what I need to do, more of what I need to do, at least some steps. And then maybe somehow that connects with her as I am, praying and, communicating with her in the ways I do, maybe if I can bring in some fresh energy, maybe she can. I don't know.
Yeah. And
But
I'm sure
yeah, that's what came up for me.
that's really beautifully said. I think that you guys, I mean, I'm sure that you guys have a very deep connection, just energetically, being mother and daughter, number one, is already just there's such a tie there. And I'm sure that in the fact that you are the one that is here with her right now in this process, of course, there is such a reflection for both of you within each other. And I think that makes so much sense. It's like you're saying, it's like I'm ready, and then life is bringing me this next thing that I got to take care of, another person or thing that you and you're so nurturing and you want to just be there for everybody and you want to take that on. And it's not that you can't take it on and that you shouldn't take it on, but I think you're right. It's like I think you taking those steps in your for yourself is probably going to give you more energy, and it's probably going to fill you up more because you're going to feel more fulfilled in your own self and in your own life. And I'm sure that that's going to reflect into her. And maybe even just a feeling of lightness, maybe just a feeling of like there is motion, there is something happening. If you're going into the unknown, you're going into this next motion, then maybe that gives her a comfort, even on a subtle, like energetic, subconscious level of going into her next unknown, you know.
Right.
So I think yeah, that's really beautiful. And I know that's so intense and such just a whole process, and I'm sure that you were learning so much about yourself and about
Yes,
her and about life and death and everything. And it's like it's amazing. It's wild. So powerful.
it is very powerful, more so than what I would have thought.
It's not something a lot people don't talk about it a lot. It's hard. It's very mysterious. It's very, you have to like live it and to get it. And our society loves to keep these things very compartmentalized, so it's very taboo, and we can't say anything about that. So no one ever really learns how to deal with it until they're dealing with it, and it's like, oh my God, this is so intense. So yeah, I think you're doing amazing, and I think you're right on track, and I think it will give you more energy. I think that, like you're saying, you will feel this like new zest for what's next for you, and
Right, right. And also I think for me, if I can let go of fear, maybe she can too. I mean, that's an issue for both of us. So for me to start
yeah.
stepping forward, then maybe that opens up something for her.
And it's like, when they say like when you heal something in yourself, you heal for the generations forward and backwards, and it's like you have that chance to help her in that next transition and heal that forwards and backwards and in real time, not just in like this, well, yeah, I guess backwards, like my ancestors in the grave. Like it's like heal it in like real time, alive together. And I think there's something really powerful in that for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
That's cool. Yes. I don't know if Adrian or Frida, if you guys want to share. If not, that's cool too. And then we'll do other stuff.
I don't really have anything to share. I just always enjoy listening to insights on everything. I think I shared your last recording um, with my best friend for the full moon so that she could hear it too. Hopefully, she's going to join the community soon. So,
That'll be
just
awesome.
poking at her about that. So, she would absolutely love all of your stuff that you do because she's so 150,000% in. She sends me all the things that I need to know about astrology for my day. And so I think she would just love to show up and hear all your insights,
That would be
especially the
so fun.
gene key stuff because neither of us know very much about that. So
Yes, that would
yeah,
be really fun. I'm so glad you're here. Anyways, and yeah, get her in. I hope she comes and hangs out with
well,
us.
we just have to figure out when.
Yes, it'll happen. It's already happened. It's no big deal. It's no problem. Yay. And then Frida, I don't know if you're there. If you want to share, you can. If not, that's cool. Whatever you want to do.
I was just wondering, like if there's any rituals or things to do that, like during Taurus season.
I would say anything that has to do with um manifestation, however you want to go about that. And even though that's something that's kind of already happening, no matter what, we just are a walking manifestation of our life, just how our presence and how we show up. But if there's things that you specifically are really wanting to like bring in, or even maybe you don't know what you want in your life, maybe just taking time trying to focus in on what like where things are in your life and kind of what's coming and how you can be best stabilized for what is trying to come into your life so that you can receive it from a stable place, because Taurus is really good about stabilizing things. So like through Taurus season, um it's like a you can use it as a way to prepare for the things that are going to come later and kind of get regrounded and stabilized so that those things can come in um, into you being grounded. So I would say anything that has to do with being in nature, like um, grounding, like being like feet on the earth or gardening or just anything in the natural world, because Taurus deals the most in the natural earth reality. So things that have to do with reality even more so than like subtle invisible things, like practical, obvious, sensual, like anything that you can incorporate all of the senses into would be perfect for Taurus. Taurus would love that. So just, I mean, I guess I could, I don't know if that was exactly what you're asking for. I don't know if you want like more
Yeah.
specific.
That's good. That's a lot. Thank you.
You're welcome. Cool. Ooh, okay. In the chat. Ooh, that's how do you say that? I have no idea how to even say that mantra.
Chata Chakravate.
Chara chakra Chara chakra
Va.
Varte Varte. Ooh, okay. That's awesome. Thank you for that. Yeah, that's anything to help alleviate fears is always good. Always needed in this world. Amazing. So I figure we could do I guess I could tell you we could do what house Taurus is for everybody, and then we'll do some for like a couple minutes. We can just write down our intentions. So I'll go through the houses. I'll just go through all of them in case anyone's watching back the recording and they want to know for them. And this is based on your rising sign, so you have to know your time of birth. If you don't know your time of birth and you're watching this and you want to know what to look at, you can just look at for your sun or your moon sign as well. But it's not going to be as accurate. You got to have your rising sign. Otherwise just focus on the general Taurus themes. So for an Aries rising, Taurus is your second house. This is Taurus's natural house placement. So all of those things I was talking about, the material world, nature, money, exchange, self-worth, values, your value systems, how you value your work or yourself. Those are really, really important for this time. The sun is going to go through your second house and it's going to be saying, ooh, now is the time to make those deals or do those things out in the world or like up your prices on your work or something like that, or do self-worth work in yourself, like self-care, like take care of yourself, value yourself, like stand up for yourself. That is going to be the focus for an Aries rising with Taurus in your second house. Let me actually pull up my charts so I can go through this quicker. So Aries, obviously Taurus rising, this is your first house. So this is all about you, Taurus rising. This is your time to shine. This is your rebirth. This is sort of like your personal spring. Anytime that the sun is going to cross over your rising is like an inner spring for you. You might reinvent your appearance. You might get really into working out or something that's going to help you with your endurance, something that's going to help you physically, something that you might want to change your appearance or change your wardrobe, restyle yourself. These are all amazing things to do with the sun in your first house, as well as just being self-reflective. Hold on, Sissy. And then if you are a Gemini rising, then Taurus is going to be in your 12th house. This is going to be more, yeah, sorry, I don't know, I got confused. I'm like looking at this chart. I'm like, wait, is it? Yeah. This is going to be your hibernation time. Gemini rising. The sun is in like the most hidden house. It is all about introspection. So you are going to be feeling that hermit. So maybe that's why you guys, I know that I think two of you are at least Gemini rising. So maybe that's part of it. It is the time to hermit for you. So don't feel bad about it. The sun is going into this, you could look at it as like the last part of winter, right? Right before it breaks into spring, but it is very much in like the cocoon. Like it is cold. It is okay. You don't have to hang on to the winter analogy, but it is more like this is the subconscious. So everything is really getting illuminated from deep, deep, deep within. the spiritual practices, like the ways that you connect to energy, like this is getting illuminated by the sun. And at the same time, the sun in the 12th house is sort of hidden from the world, not from you, but from everybody else. So that's why you kind of want to be hermited, because the sun is, or when the moon is in your 12th house, but so you can use this through all of Taurus season, but you can also use it just for this new moon as well. You want to really just deal with your own energy. You don't want to be intermixing with everybody all the time with the sun in the 12th. So yeah, take that time, be within. This is the time to do that. That's for Gemini rising. For Cancer rising, Taurus is your 11th house. So this is all about getting out with people, community, sharing in like being creative with other people, like sharing in your gifts and your talents and your joy, coming together to make something happen. So this is also the house of your hopes and dreams and your wishes, because we have to do things together to actually accomplish anything. We can't do everything that we want to do by ourselves. We can only get so far. So the sun is really taking your attention into how you are interacting with your community, with the groups that you're a part of. Maybe you want to join in on different groups. Maybe you want to exit certain groups because you're trying to clean stuff up. Wherever the sun is, it's like an invitation to like dust the cobwebs, especially if you don't have other planets in that house. It's like, okay, we're gonna kind of like give it a little love, a little sprinkle, a little, a little refresh. But it's also where our vitality is. So this is where you're going to feel the most enlivened. Like this is where you're going to get the most of your like health benefits, you could say, is when you're focused on this house where the sun is. So Cancer rising, you want to like rely on your community, like get involved with people, go out and meet new people, just be online. You want to be social, you want to collaborate. So this is the time to do it. Leo rising, the sun is in your 10th. The sun, Taurus, the sun and moon, for the new moon as well. This is your 10th house of career. So this is your time. The 10th house is like the top of the chart. This is a very solar house, because it's the place where you are seen by everybody. So the sun in the 10th house is a very it is a time to be seen. It is not the time to hide away. It is the time to go out and make your work known, put yourself out there, get new clients if that's the type of work you do, or be recognized for the work that you're doing. Like you might have more recognition. The people you work with or the people that pay you might be like, giving you a raise or like giving you recognition you deserve, giving you new projects, somehow like elevating your status or how you're seen by other people. Or if you don't have a job or you're looking for work, like this is a good time to go out and do interviews or do things that you're going to be seen for your skills. This is a good time to do it for Leo rising. Virgo rising, this is your 9th house. So this is all about your belief systems. This is all about higher education. This is the time to really go in depth and to learn something new, or study things that you enjoy, or really, really just take that focus into your the higher mind, you could say, like how you really think about things and understand things and actually look at other perspectives as well. Like this is a time to be open-minded. And I know with Taurus, like just naturally a Taurus 9th house person is going to, it's not that you're going to struggle with that placement, but it's going to be, the Taurus has a tendency to be more closed off because it's just the nature of Taurus and the shadow of it. So you just want to make sure that you are maybe taking a little extra effort to be open-minded and receptive to other people and other cultures and other things, because there's a lot of value there in the 9th house, especially with the sun transiting, where things are illuminated, new information can come in, and it's generally going to be helpful information. So that's Virgo rising. Libra rising, this is the sun. Taurus is in your 8th house, so this is all about transformation for Libra rising. This time period, this is your time to really transform. It's maybe not like going to transform your whole entire life. I mean, that could happen for sure, but it's more like let things come up and get cleared up. Like the eighth house deals in karma and trauma and the process of cleaning all that up. It's not meant to be like, oh, it's just all the trauma and karma and bad things in life that just sit there and rot away. But that can happen if we're not transforming. So that's the eighth house's job is like cleanup crew. We have to transform this into something better, or it's just going to sit there and eat away at you and make your life more difficult. So with the sun in the eighth house, we get the opportunity to take another look, go beneath the surface, go within our fears. The eighth house likes to keep things a little bit under the surface and kind of keep things from people and make it like, it doesn't want to go there, maybe even in its own self. But this is the perfect time to kind of start to uncover different things that need to be dealt with. And for Scorpio rising, this is your seventh house. Seventh house is partnerships, relationships, friendships, one-to-one partnerships. Could be business partnerships. It's also the public. It's the mirror. It's everything that's not you, even though it is you. It's a reflection of you. You are going to see more of yourself through others in this time period and gather like have enjoyment there. Like your relationships might be going really well, or even if they're not going well, this is the time to like refresh your relationships, and maybe make new friends or meet new people. Things like that would be a generally positive time. For Sagittarius rising, this is your sixth house of your health, routines, um, ritualistic patterns, work, the things you do every day. This is the time to really like, if you've been thinking about making that health change, you're like, oh, I want to do this and that. Like, this is the time to do it. Perfect time to start. And you have these planets helping make it an easier process. Or if there's things that are going, like, honestly, the sun through the sixth house is very, very helpful for health. So this can help you lighten symptoms of things or able to like process different health challenges easier by being able to maybe uncover reasoning why things are happening or change your habits in a way that support your health and well-being. Yeah, so anything around your lifestyle, that's the time to do it. And then Capricorn, this is your fifth house. Capricorn rising, this is your fifth house of fun, games, creativity. So this is a really great, and also children, specifically your firstborn child. But this is and romance. So this is like creative energy, right? Anytime like, the romance creates the baby, hence children and romance, hence also fun, games, things that are pleasurable, things that are enjoyable. This is the time to really just take in life and enjoy your life, be creative. Like it's a very highly creative placement because the sun naturally is the ruler of the fifth house. So it's a very enjoyable placement. Capricorn rising, Aquarius rising, the sun is in your fourth house. So this is your home. This is your lineage. This would be a great time to clean your home, do some spring cleaning, some organization, connect with your mother or nurturing parent, create maybe even like touch up things on your home, decorate, redecorate, paint, like whatever it is that is going to make your space that you live in more enjoyable. This would be a great time for you. Aquarius rising, Pisces rising. This is your third house of communication. So this is the time to freely express yourself. Like maybe you're not sharing the things that you want to share, or maybe it's not coming out the way you want it to come out. Like, why is that? Like maybe you need to do more things that are loosening up the throat, like singing, writing, speaking. Maybe you've been wanting to like, I'm going to make those YouTube videos and you just never do it. Like now's the time to do it. People want to hear what you have to say with the sun in the third house. You're like being illuminated. So like your opinions and your ideas and your expression is not that it's more important than not that it's not going to be important when the sun leaves, but it's going to be the chance for it to be really recognized and heard is higher. So if there's things that you want to say or get out, perfect time to do that. That's for Pisces. And yeah, wait, yeah, that's all of them. Okay, I'm like, wait, Yes, and then it goes back to Aries. So those are the houses. That took a little bit longer than I wanted to. But okay, we can take a couple minutes, I guess, and write down some of our intentions for the month. So it can be for the month, or you can do for the 6 month period until we have the Taurus full moon, which will be in Scorpio season. So however you want to do it. But Taurus is a great time for planting those seeds. So let's plant some seeds. I would not go overboard. We'll just do like a couple things, 2 or 3 things, 4 things if you want to be super ambitious. But um, yeah, we'll take like 2 minutes. Well, not too long, and then we'll close down. We'll close down and move on with our lovely evening or slash morning. Okay, let's write some intentions. Might want to relate your intentions to that specific house that Taurus is. Guys, obviously you can keep writing and doing what you're doing. Um, Sorry if that went over a little bit. I know we kind of started a little bit behind, so hopefully it wasn't too long. But thank you guys so much for coming. And the next one will be on the first, which is, I don't even know what day it is. Oh, it's like exactly 1 week from today. So next Thursday at 6 o'clock, that'll be Beltane gathering. So not necessarily astrology focused, but that'll be on the first. And yeah, and then the other ones. And I have the dates written down somewhere, but there's actually going to be 4 tomorrow or 4 next month. So there'll be Beltane, there'll be the new moon, full moon, and then there's going to be another workshop, a $22 workshop, just like the Neptune going into Aries, but this is for Saturn going into Aries, which is happening next month. So that will be happening. So I hope to see you guys at any or all of those things and enjoy the rest of your weekend. for the start to your weekend. Enjoy the new moon, which again is on the 27th. So it's not today, but it's coming up. All right, you guys.
Thank you, Nicole.
You're welcome.
We love you.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
You're welcome. Bye, guys.